What is going on? Obviously my name is Addison396. Thank you very much for watching this second part of the Q&A for the Battlefield 4 Showdown. I asked you guys to leave a couple of comments on the last video, the questions video, and today I'm basically going to go through them and answer them all. I've got them down on my laptop down here, so... Oh, I've got a hair in my mouth. Jesus, that's some nice long hair. I've got the questions on my laptop down here, so if I look down here, most of the time it's just because I'm reading down here. But yeah, I thought I'd get straight into it and hopefully shed some light on the Battlefield 4 Showdown. So Mr. T Puppy, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, I always just call you Puppy. But he says, how different, if at all, does the new Xbox One controller feel compared to the Xbox 360 controller? So I would say not too different at all. The bumper sticks, they're quite different. When you go towards the middle, they're a lot firmer than at the edge, and they're more like a mouse click now instead of a bumper. You do have to like click them in, so that's different. The thumbsticks are a lot smaller as well in circumference. Some people were complaining about having their fingers slip off and stuff like that. That's pretty much it. Obviously the controls have changed, but you're asking about the controller. So the controllers, they feel very natural to use. Yeah, that's pretty much all I can say for the controllers. I didn't have a problem with them. I found them very easy to pick up, very easy to use if you've been using an Xbox already. So yeah, I hope that answers that question. Who was your favourite person to meet at the event? It was just it's such a hard question to answer because it's so many people I was so excited to meet, and I'll list some off here, but apologies if I forget some guys, but people who I was looking forward to meeting in advance. Obviously I've met some great people since I've been there, but in advance, obviously the Russian Badger, obviously all the DICE guys, and especially the video team. Obviously me being a third year media student, I'm interested in, obviously, a YouTuber. I'm really interested in the video side of the DICE group. So yeah, it was a pleasure to meet like Rolly and Noken and that team. So probably yeah, my favourite person or people to meet at the event was the DICE guys. They were so down to earth. Like it's kind of weird because my dad comes from video games. My dad used to be a graphics artist, moved on to a producer, and he still makes mobile games, nothing like AAA titles anymore. But yeah, obviously if one of his fans came up to him and was like, he's just a normal guy, so I don't know why I didn't expect that from the DICE guys. You see it on YouTube a lot, where YouTubers get really big, get millions of subscribers, and they suddenly get really egotistical and big-headed, and it's just not at all like that with the DICE guys. They're so down to earth, and I know it sounds weird to say, but surprisingly, they're just normal guys, and they're just such a pleasure to sit and talk to them and ask them questions about the game. They were in the same hotel as us, and they sat up at the bar until 3 in the morning some nights. So it's just an absolute pleasure to meet those guys. Anybody you met there rub you up the wrong way? Not at all. It got on with everybody. Nobody. The American guys were fantastic. All of the European guys were amazing. Nobody at all rubbed me up the wrong way. So what was your favourite moment from the event? There's so many. Probably just times where like behind the scenes, like just seeing the setup and seeing how the live show works. My favourite moment in particular, I managed to go around and I didn't have anything else but a piece of paper, but the last night at the bar in the hotel, I managed to go around and get signatures of all the DICE guys. So that's probably my favourite moment. Some of them were quite personalised, and like saying you can be my wingman anytime, stuff like that. So they remembered me, realised I was a jet pilot, and yeah, that's probably one of my favourite moments. There's so many moments that I'm just never gonna forget. Obviously, Battlefield being the only game I've really played in the last 2 years, it's just amazing to meet the guys who, you know, I've spent 600-700 hours in their game, and it's just a memory I'm just not going to forget. So that was amazing. Talk about, oh, this is something I've really wanted to talk about. So talk about your role as the, this is all from the puppy, by the way, or one big paragraph of questions. Talk about your role as the EU's air player. You already told me on Twitter, but you haven't told YouTube. So yeah, that's right, puppy. Basically, not that many people offered to be in the air, and the strategy that we had was there was another pilot. But in the rehearsals, he just kept getting sort of dominated, taken off, and stuff like that. He was supposed to be the air-to-ground pilot, and I was supposed to defend him more. We had a few problems with people like stealing jets, using them for transport, and that sort of stuff. But my role, it was decided for the final, you know, the live show, was I was the only EU jet pilot, so it was challenging. And what the shoutcasters didn't realise, and what I don't think most people realised, is my aim wasn't to actually try and kill them as much. It was to distract them from pounding our infantry and our vehicles, because in the rehearsals they'd been, you know, they were such good pilots in the air. They were really, really good. I'm not denying them anything at all. They were amazing pilots. But they were just dominating our ground units. So for the showdown, I was basically just trying to distract them, trying to eliminate the amount of time that they had to do what they were doing in the rehearsals. So that was basically my role as the EU's air player. And obviously you guys, you see my YouTube. I don't think you YouTubers know how much of an air pilot I actually am, because I don't actually put it that much on YouTube. Some of you may have heard me talk about it, like, for example, one of my favourite stats to list off is on Battlefield 3, when I first jumped into that, I'd spent, on the Russian side, I spent 24 hours in the jet, and I'd racked up 24 hours in the American jets, the main jet, before I'd actually spent an hour on foot. And just because I come from flight sims, and I really, really love the flying, I really wanted to try it out. But yeah, you guys might not know that, because obviously I do a lot of infantry and ground vehicle footage, because the air footage, it's not too easy to edit together and keep it entertaining, especially, you know, 300 videos of it. So yeah, I was basically the EU's air player, and it was really fun. It was really, really fun. The only problem I had is people like stealing my jets for transport and then bailing out, and it's like a 90-second respawn. And we did discuss that sort of stuff, but people didn't really stick to it. But yeah, still no complaints at all. It was just amazing to take part and to be in the event. So. And how does Battlefield 4 compare on the Xbox to the 360 version? Obviously, graphics are a lot better. There's no frame drop or anything like that, especially when the revolution happens. Obviously, with the beta, there was no HD texture pack on the 360, so it you know, looked horrible. But I have had a couple of games, managed to borrow a copy, and I should be getting a copy as well through the post from a little bird, a little friend of mine, has hopefully passed me a copy that I can lend for a couple of weeks until I can get my own. So yeah, I have had a little bit of time on the 360 version. It's a bit hard because the one I've played on the 360, it's not been in HD. I haven't been playing on a HD TV. That's when I get back home today. Obviously the map size and the player count is different, so I can probably talk about that a little bit. The player count, it makes a lot of difference. It's really fun to take part in those bigger battles. Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a good question. It's a tough one. I can't really pinpoint what's different. So yeah. What's your favourite behind the scenes moment? I managed to, there's a guy called Jonathan from, he was either from DICE or from Attention Seekers, the guys who put on the Bf4 Showdown. And they had a little backstage area all cordoned off, and I was taking photos of it, and he says, oh, do you want to have a little tour? So I was like, yeah, I'd love a little tour, and that's the little tour I put up on YouTube a couple of days ago whilst I was at the showdown. That's probably my favourite behind the scenes moment, because the guy was really welcoming, and yeah, that was a really nice moment, especially me being a media student. It's really great to go backstage and see all that sort of stuff. Pointed out, this is the server where the game's being run on. This is the Microsoft team. This is the DICE guys over here. So that was really cool. And did you learn about anything new about Battlefield 4 that you can share? So much. I don't know what I've already shared and what I haven't shared. The best thing to do is, if you want to know stuff about like that, probably just tweet me. Just tweet me at Addison396 and then ask me about something something particular or something specific, and then I can let you know. One thing that I was gonna try and keep secret and try and release in a video later on, I'll still do it anyway, is somebody else already mentioned it on Twitter though. I thought I was the only one who knew about it, because I'd spoken with one of the DICE team and they told me about it and they didn't tell anybody else, but I guess somebody had already found it in game. On Caspian Border, on the wall, you can actually swim underneath the wall at certain points, which is just awesome. And yeah, I think not in the middle, at the like either end here and here of the wall, you can actually swim under. Now I didn't get to try it out, but that is something that I really want to try out. And yeah, obviously you don't have to waste shells from your tank, on the wall, or trying to get through, or if they're really just holding you back on the other side of the wall, just walk right to the edge and swim under, and then flank them. So that's probably something new about Battlefield 4 that I can share. Just one little thing. So, gaming with Geigers, good old Geigers, he asks, there was a stairway on top of the hill on Caspian Border, where does it go? Now, I only went down it once, and it was blocked off with fire, so I didn't want to run through it. It was like little micro evolution. There was these little, if you imagine like along this back wall here, there's like some big pipes running along it, and somebody had shot them or exploded them, and big bursts of fire was coming out of them. So I didn't want to pass through there. But I do remember somebody talking about it, and I think they said it went to D. But that's just from memory. So yeah, I hope that works. I don't actually know the names of the flags by letter. I always give them call out. So hill, petrol station, that sort of thing, or gas station. So I hope D isn't actually the flag on top of the hill, because the question was about on top of the. Well, anyway, you know what I mean. So yeah, I'll try and look that up a bit more for you guys and give you a solid answer on that. Why did they pick you and not actual jet pilots? Is from Chaos X IREX. Do you mean like actual fighter jet pilots? Because they're probably better like in a jet and probably are useless on a video game, just like I'm alright on a video game and useless in a jet. But he's probably not asking that. He's probably asking why did they pick me for the jets and not actually like just a specific jet pilot. And that was mainly because when we got their roles were sorted out there, we were given we were asked specializations, what we specialised in. I gave in jets, vehicles, and assault. Because I'm not just a vehicle person. I am, I've got a 1.6, 1.7 KD or something like that on foot as well. So I can stand my ground on foot. So, but the roles were just decided when we got there. People, how many people can fly? Put my hand up. I think one of the guys, two other guys maybe put the hand up. But yeah, obviously, like I've already explained, that's basically just how we picked our roles. So GamerShark100, he asks, question 1, how was the communication in the team? Quite a good chunk of the players were from, for the most part, non-English speaking countries, which might have made cooperation more difficult. So yeah, it did, and I just explained how the teams were actually set up. We were on obviously you see we were on our rows of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us on a row. But the squads weren't actually, unfortunately, laid out in those rows. The rows were set up and we were given our designated Xboxes before we set up our squads. So unfortunately, for example, I was in a squad with Ripple and Vicstar. Vicstar, another YouTuber you might have heard of. I was in a squad with those guys, and it was just me and those two. And the way that worked is we had these gaming headsets on, and they were all sort of linked together, actually on the table with the devices, the boxes that you get with them. And you just plug in a little cable, and you can link the two headsets up together, so you can talk to each other, almost like LAN, but for headsets. And yeah, unfortunately, it would be nice to have spoken with the jet pilot, the other jet pilot who was sort of a half a jet pilot. He would jump in it every now and again, Eurasian, but he was on a stand all the way over there, the other side of the room. So basically, the way it worked is we were talking between each other, and we had our little squad set up, and then the squad leader could talk to the commander. So what they did try and do is group the French with the French people, the Germans with the German people. But it just didn't really work out too well with the communication, obviously just because of the language barriers. So the communication in the team, that's basically how the team was structured, the team communication, and yeah, it did make it a little bit more difficult. So how were the graphics on the Xbox? Again, from GamerShark 100. Question 2, how were the graphics on the Xbox One? This might not be very relevant to the Showdown itself, but do you think the updated visuals and the increased frame rate help you perform better than you would have on the Xbox 360? By the way, nice playing from you and the team. Well, thank you very much. Nice playing from everybody. So, but yeah. So how were the graphics on the Xbox One? The graphics were really, really nice, like beautiful. I've got a nice 42-inch at home, and I can't wait to, it's probably going to be like a year till I get myself an Xbox One, but I still can't wait to see them, especially looking forward to, over the course of Battlefield 3, the graphics got better in the game, towards the end, the later DLCs, the textures and the skins of the characters and that sort of thing, they looked better. So especially when the Xbox One is launched, and as we get into the development later on of Battlefield 4, it's going to be really, really nice, I think. And I don't think it's going to matter that much between, if you're on PC, if you're on Xbox, and if you're on PlayStation, as long as you're not on this generation, basically. Obviously, the graphics, it's still going to be the same quality of output, but it's just things like the amount of particles, explosions and things like that, and obviously the frame rate, the power of the machine that you're using. And do I think that any of that helped me perform better than I would have on the Xbox 360? It's a good question. I don't think so, because, well, yeah, obviously, if the frame rate's dropping, then my performance is going to be bad. So if the frame rate was to drop on the Xbox 360, I wouldn't be able to shoot at people as smoothly and that sort of thing. So yeah, obviously without the frame rate drops and stuff like that, I was able to play better than I would have done. So yeah, good question. So Pablo Escobar, he asks, I saw something that really worried me. On the stream, at some points, it took some time for the game to load textures. Did that happen to you? Or was this from the stream or spectator mode? I've seen PlayStation 4 multiplayer gameplay, and it looks almost as good as PC. So this really worried me, since I was planning on getting an Xbox One, but this can be a game breaker for me. Now, without going into it and without flame warring, I will be getting an Xbox One. But I would say, if you care about graphics, and you're not going to get a PC, get a PlayStation 4. It's sort of a catch-22, because Battlefield, it's a game about teamwork, it's about communication. It's, obviously me being a YouTuber, I want to upload to YouTube. And PlayStation, Sony's previous history, no microphone, no support for, party chat. It's not good for Battlefield. And obviously with copyright protection, I've not kept up to date, but the last I heard, they'd just gone back on what they'd said, and they'd left the copyright on. So for a YouTuber's standpoint, that's just useless for us. The only way we can do it now is illegally, as there's no AV component cables anymore that'll work. So yeah, from my personal point of view, I'll be getting an Xbox One. just because that's what I'll be doing. But yeah, the things you were talking about, I just want to point out though that it's not a final build, and it's not the build that was, well, there is no final build, but it's not the build that you guys are playing on either. We were playing on a build that, you know, is a couple of days, couple of weeks old maybe, and there are still huge changes that happen in that. Was this from the stream or from spectator mode? That's also a good point, because, for example, if I was using colourblind mode, you guys wouldn't have been able to see that because you were watching a different feed, just the way that they worked it. So things like that I wouldn't worry about. What I would do though is I would wait until the Xbox, if you can, if you're going to pre-order, then you're gonna have to try and make an informed decision the best you can. But if you're not going to pre-order, what I'd do is I'd wait. Obviously, look up some reviews on YouTube, and just make an informed decision then. Maybe once both consoles are out, search for some bugs like that and see if they are prevalent. Yeah, that's probably the best advice I give to you, Pablo. So, Big Black Laurel, or I think I pronounced that right. On the Caspian border match, why did nobody pop in your heli as a gunner? It sucked when you were getting spawn killed by 2 enemy jets and you didn't even have a gunner to help you out. Yep, it did pretty much suck. I wasn't actually supposed to get in the heli on Caspian border at any point. If there was jets on the map, I was basically going to be the jet pilot. So the reason why I got in the heli was people stole my jets and crashed them into the ground, and I didn't want to wait 90 seconds of doing nothing whilst I could see on the map that there was nobody in our heli, and that the jets on the US team were flying around and killing people. So I just jumped in it. I couldn't communicate with anybody who was a heli pilot or a heli gunner. I think Ripple in my party was okay at that, but he was busy, and he was basically alive the whole time that I was in it, so there's no point in him killing himself just to spawn in on it. So yeah, basically nobody popped in the gunner seat because I couldn't communicate with them. It wasn't cross-team communication, and I'm sure if I'd yelled, I need a gunner, there would have been somebody that had jumped in. It's just a shame with the way that we were set up with communicating, it just wasn't possible. So, Motorbikes Rule 125 says, what do you like about the new improved Second Assault DLC, and what was your best part for you at the showdown? Well, I've kind of already answered the best part. There's so many parts. What do I like about the new improved Second Assault DLC? Well, I was really worried that it was going to be a reskin and not a redesign, and I don't know if I don't know how, I've seen the stream, but I can't really remember how many things they did show off. But once you're in the game and you're playing things like, Caspian Border, it's just amazing. It is a redesign. It's not a, they've changed. For example, when you get Call of Duty maps, they don't change the layout of the maps. They don't add in, for example, Nuketown. It's the exact same map. It's just different colours. That's it on Call of Duty. But on Battlefield, it's a completely new map. It's amazing. So that's what I like about it. I like the fact that it's not just a reskin. It's a redesign. It changes the way that the map will be played, hopefully for the better. And it makes you think about it. It makes you have to learn the map again. You have to learn bits about the map again, 50% of the map again, because there's Levolution things that'll cut you off, they'll stop you going a certain way, all sorts of things. And Second Assault DLC, I want to see Metro. I want to see what the big Levolution is in Metro. I'm hoping it's something like there's active trains that are running through the subway at some point maybe, and maybe if you're able to break the train tracks, you'll be able to cause a train to crash in, and that will become a flag or something like that. I'm not too sure. I'm not really up to date with the news on Metro, if we know what the Levolution is yet or not. But yeah, I'm just really happy that it's not a reskin. It's a redesign. So Wendy Prater asks who won. Team USA, fortunately. Great job, guys. The Lucas Langer. Excuse me, I need to cough 1 second. I've got a bit of a chest infection. Oh, there we go. So yeah, the Lucas Langer asks, how did you get invited to the Bf4 Showdown, or why? So I think it's come from when I did the Bf4 boot camp. I think it's solely because of that. And the reason, if you don't know, the reason how I managed to do that is there's a guy called Dan Sheridan who is the head of marketing for the UK for EA. And I followed him on Twitter. I saw he was playing Battlefield 3 one day, and I just jumped in his game, and I think I spent maybe a couple of games on his team. I spent a couple of games on the opposite team, and when I was on the opposite team, well, in his words, I was dominating or something along those lines, in his words. So he remembered me from there, and they were looking for people at the time to do Bf4 Showdown, and he realised, obviously after doing, he said he's done a bit of research, they did a bit of research onto me, so I'm guessing that means they looked at my stats or looked at my Twitter or YouTube, and basically so I do know a lot about Battlefield, I know what I'm talking about, I know, you know, stats and facts and all that sort of stuff, and they basically just asked me to send in a little short video, just like to camera, like this sort of thing, doing a little presentation piece, and that's how I got picked for the boot camp. So, and I think the showdown was basically all because of the boot camp. So that's how I got invited, I think. How did you get to play EU versus USA? No offense, but you're not a good player. Well, thank you very much, Mr. X. I'm going to read you out his full name so you can give him some grief. Lowercase x space, lowercase BENAGI, and then uppercase L at the end. So go and send him some spam. Yeah, obviously, hopefully I made it a little bit clearer now that, you know, there was kind of like 4 pilots versus 1. And I'm not taking anything away from the US guys, but I think things might have been a little bit differently if I'd had you know, a really competent jet pilot and a really competent heli and heli gunner with me. So hopefully that explains that up a bit. And also you know, he says, you know, how did you get to go? So I've already explained that. And yeah, that's it for the questions. So thank you very much for those questions. We're coming up to 28 minutes now, so I obviously don't want to make it too long. But thank you very much for your time watching. I hope you've managed to learn a little bit something new about the Bf4 Showdown. It was an amazing experience. I'm so glad I got to take part. There are so many people to thank, and I hope I've managed to thank them all in person. So I won't, you know, reel off lists here, but just as a blanket, people from DICE, the people who helped me out at EA, who managed to let me go from EA, obviously attention seekers, all those guys, and yeah, I just want to thank the players as well for making it such a great experience, such a great time. Everybody was friendly, everybody was amazing. You know, I got things like special level BF dog tags from Tim from Level BF, and I'm hoping to at some point discuss, when I get my internet up and running properly again, maybe I'll keep that a little bit of a secret for now. I'm not sure how much I can reveal about that, but yeah, hopefully some things with me and Level BF at some point in the future. But yeah, I think just, you know, people being nice, and you know, I got t-shirts, I got a really cool jet t-shirt as well from Level BF, so thank you very much for those. And yeah, it was just an absolutely amazing experience. I've not really, it's not really all consolidated and come into one proper memory yet, where I can, you know, there's just so much to think about, so much to remember. But yeah, it's just an amazing time, and I just want to say thank you. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Videos coming up in the future. I am looking very busy in the next couple of days. I'm hoping I should be getting the multiplayer. I'll be basically borrowing a single player disc to take home today, and I should be getting the game, like I said, from a little special friend tomorrow. So I should basically do some videos, multiplayer, have them up maybe tomorrow, if not the day after. If I have time today, though, what I'll do is, or tonight or tomorrow morning, I'll do my pilot episode of Battlefield 4 campaign. I'm not sure if you've seen the other ones I did for Battlefield 3, but for Battlefield 3 I played through the campaign missions and re-edited them to music. Kind of similar to a sort of long music video, 4 or 5 minute, 6 minute music video or playthrough of the mission, but just where everything's timed to the music. So yeah, I look forward to that, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys.